Today we will talk about how you can root a bouquet of roses with your own hands, which were given on a holiday, and have already slightly wilted. It's a shame to throw them away, and you really want to keep them as a memory. In the previous video, I talked about and showed how you can root roses in soil. Today, I will show you how to root roses in potatoes and in water. So let's begin. I have a slightly wilted bouquet of Jumalia roses. This is a very good rose, and I would love to see the same bush in my yard. Of course, it's preferable to use fresh roses, but if they are slightly wilted, it's not critical. We take the bouquet, unwrap it. 2 roses, one more wilted, the other less. Now we need to prepare them for rooting. The rose has slightly wilted, and it has a dark spot on the stem. This needs to be cut off, because it could lead to rotting of the entire cutting. Also, cut the top bud about 1 centimeter above the top node, and make a cut below the bottom node about 2 centimeters down. The lower cut will be slanted and the upper cut will be straight. Use a sharp knife to make a slanted cut below the node at angle of 45 degrees. And the upper cut should be made 1 centimeter above the top node. There should be about 3 or more nodes. The thickness of the stem should be about the thickness of a pencil, no less, because this will improve. Rooting. Now it is necessary to remove the lower leaves. These small shoots near the lower node, you can break them off, which will create wounds where roots will later form. These small wounds will produce roots during rooting. Leave only the top 2 leaves, which will be quite sufficient for growth of the flower. After preparing the cutting, it needs to be soaked either in honey with water or in rooting hormone. I prefer rooting hormone more, because it has a higher rooting success rate. I use Novafert rooting hormone as the most effective. 1 measuring spoon of rooting hormone is mixed in 5 liters of settled or boiled cooled water. The cuttings should be submerged in this solution up to 2/3 of their length and soaked for about 24 hours. For rooting, it is advisable to cut the cuttings from the central part of the rose stem. They contain the most nutrients and are the most likely to sprout. For better deepening of the cuttings, you can use an old beer bottle, which is cut off at the top of the neck. Finally, 24 hours have passed. Now it is necessary to take the cuttings out of the rooting medium and treat the top cut with a waterproofing material. This can be plasticine wax or paraffin. I will use wax. We melt the wax in a water bath to a temperature of 60-65 degrees. Hold the leaves so they don't fall into the hot water. The top is sealed and moisture will not evaporate from here. After this, you need to take garden soil, mix it with sand 1:1, and you can start planting. After this, we will need an ordinary potato and a pot with small holes at the bottom. You can also use large plastic bottles by cutting off the neck. In one pot we pour a small amount of sand or expanded clay to prevent root rot, approximately 2-3 centimeters. It's preferable to use a large potato to ensure there are more nutrients. Take the cutting slightly, refresh the cut about 2 or 3 millimeters and make a cut with a sharp knife as well. After refreshing the cut, take a screwdriver or a thick nail and make a depression to a certain depth, 1 to 2 centimeters, but not all the way through. Into this indentation we insert the handle until it stops. This creates such a structure. Place a potato at the bottom and cover it with soil. Firmly tamp it down and water it with a root growth solution. In this state, the cutting is ready for germination. You can cover it with a bag on top to retain more moisture, reduce evaporation from the leaves, and prolong its life. But if your room is not too hot and has high humidity, you may not need to do this. I placed 2 cuttings in the soil, and I will try to root the third one in regular rooting solution. I also refreshed the cut at the bottom. And pour about 3 to 5 centimeters of rooting solution into a container made from a regular beer bottle. We place the cutting here and cover it with a bag from above. Cover it not too tightly, so there is some ventilation for better moisture retention. I sprinkled about a centimeter layer of sand on top of the soil. This will provide good protection against bacteria and prevent water from evaporating.